share the 7 stories of these entrepreneurs. First off, Don Jose Concepcion. It's one of our first borrowers from Nicaragua, and he's 56 years old, lives with his wife and 2 male children. In the fall of 2013, he asked for his first loan of $700, which he repaid in 24 months. Because the loan allowed him to expand his business of selling cheese, cream, and breeding pigs, he asked for a second loan. Now, this second loan is very important to us and everyone that is part of Globe, because he was able not only to go from door to reach his clients, but he was able to buy a motorcycle. Now he's able to reach a larger clientele, and he's able to expand his business and bring more products with him. That's why he was able now to request a third loan of $700 as well. And the Daughters of Charity, Senora Reina, recommended him because he's very passionate in what he does. He loves his business and he wants to be able to continue to expand it. That's why we approved and recommended this third loan for him.
Our second borrower, Bismarck Benito Martinez Padilla, right here, the sharp dressed guy from the left. He's from Leon, Nicaragua, and he actually attended the second oldest university in Central America. So what makes Bismarck unique from all of our borrowers is, even though he is a first-time borrower, he has an existing enterprise. He runs a pulperia, which is a general store that just sells basic necessities and food, drinks, things like that. And he's shown a lot of initiative. He's expanded his enterprise to the point where he's requesting a loan from Globe, for which he's approved, to expand his existing inventory, so that way he could potentially hire more locals in the area. So we're very excited to see what Bismarck does.
Our third borrower is Barbara Susana Calero Jimenez. She's a third-time Globe borrower, and she initially requested $500 to be repaid in 12 months. She has a catering business in which she prepares food that targets tourists and the normal working class people of Managua. She's a single parent and she has 3 kids. And the thing that amazed us, the finance team, is that she has so little, yet she has so much, because the food that is left over from her business, she usually distributes it to the poor in her vicinity.
All right, our fourth borrower is Bayardo Antonio Mejito Rodriguez. He's also from Managua, Nicaragua. He is a happy married man with wife and 2 kids. He's a second-time Globe borrower. For his first loan in the spring of 2016, he requested $1,000 to create his own metalworking business, which he sells objects back to his local community. And this semester, he requested and got approved of another $1,000 loan, which he will use to buy new tools and expand his business by hiring new employees.
Our next borrower is Fanny Del Carmen Hamni, also known as Carmen. She resides in Nicaragua and requested a loan of $700 to fix the roof of her house. Because she wanted to fix the roof of her house, we did have initial issues because we didn't know how this would expand a business or what entrepreneurial value it had to her company. So after receiving additional information from the Daughters of Charity, she actually wanted to open up a used clothes and used shoes business from her home. After seeing the importance the house would have to her, we immediately got her loan approved. Carmen also has a lot of importance to Globe because Dr. Sama and the fellows met her when they went to Nicaragua in May, and they felt very strongly that she would be able to handle the loan and repay on time.
Our next borrower is Kay Tu Yin. She's actually from Vietnam. She works with housekeeping and lives with both her 3 siblings and her parents. Her parents are actually in really bad conditions and very sick right now. So she requested a loan of $220. It's her first loan at Globe. She's going to be repaying with 5% interest in 24 months. And what called our attention for her is that not only she works with housekeeping and she's able to provide for her whole family, but she also wants to be able to fix her house so her parents can live in a better condition.
And our last borrower is Mariette. She too is from Vietnam. She's 23 years old, and she initially requested a loan of $441 to be repaid in 10 months. Her family owns a coffee farm, and she has 5 siblings. 2 of them are disabled, and her parents are very old. She, in addition to being a housekeeper, she wants to purchase a gasoline pump to help with the irrigation purposes pertaining to the family's coffee farm, and we approved the loan because she thinks it would help cut the cost with the amount of labor that needs to transport the water from the lake into the fields.
Our first objective we set at the beginning of the semester was to go through defaulted loans and write off loans that have not been active in Globe's portfolio for a very long time. What we found was the last defaulted loan occurred in fall 2012, and we felt very comfortable writing off loans that happened so long ago because Globe has been a work in progress, and it happened so long ago that it doesn't have any effect to the portfolio that's happening right now. We really wanted to be the class that expanded into a new country, but we knew that we had to take a step back and really organize what we already had before we could push forward. We then decided to organize the card filing system. Although all the information is on the document, on the Excel sheet we have already, we knew including a start date, repayment period, and maturity date will help the future classes see what needs to be updated and when the loans are going to be repaid, so you can really stay on top of that. That really is going to help administrators like Dr. Sam Alina and even the Globe classes see when they need to reach out to the daughters to check up on the loans.
Our second objective was to identify risk factors or variables that contribute to defaults and see if there's a common link there, so we could create a risk profile. We could have a profile for countries or loan recommendations that we want to automatically write off, or loan recommendations that would automatically get bumped to the top to kind of speed up the approval process. So the number one thing that we discovered throughout the course of the semester was that borrower health is paramount in terms of evaluating the risk of the loan. In many of the countries we operate in, the borrowers don't have access to healthcare at all, and if they do, it's not affordable and it's not very high quality. And so take this into consideration. If the borrower becomes ill, then in most cases they are the sole proprietor of their enterprise. So if they become ill, they're no longer able to work and generate revenue and pay off their loan. So more often than not, they use their loan to pay for their medical bills. So that was the number one thing that we kind of saw as a link between defaults. The second most common thing was borrower gender. We noticed that, it's been a problem that's been observed by Grameen Bank since the mid-90s. They reported that about 15.1% of their they were experiencing repayment issues with 15.1% of their male borrowers, as opposed to 1.3% of their female borrowers. And we have, the World Bank kind of reinforces this point. As you can see here, experience has shown that repayment is higher among female borrowers, mostly to more conservative investments and lower moral hazard risk. So that, and as a result, about 73% of microfinance institutions' loan portfolios consist of women. Finally, country risk is the third largest risk factor that we looked at. Is the government creating an enabling environment there for microfinance institutions to operate? Are they supplying funding to the institutions there? What's the regulation look like? Is the government corrupt? These are all things we look at. Then finally, we look at the delinquency rate of Grameen Bank, the pioneer of microfinance. They have, as of today, more updated numbers, that their delinquency rate is about 4%. If we look at the delinquency rate of Globe's portfolio, 2.2%, the reason why we were able to obtain such a low delinquency rate is because of the Daughters of Charity. They're so important to our operation here. They vet these loans before they come in, so we're getting the highest quality loans. They're active in the community, so they provide, they facilitate communications between us and the borrowers in terms of their repayment schedule, if they need to restructure, things like that. So.
All right, so our third objective of this semester was to research new possible locations for a Globe expansion. If you can see here, the green X's represent the countries Globe are now in, and the red X's represent the countries we researched for possible expansion. The first country we researched is Paraguay. Paraguay is deemed one of the poorest countries in South America. In 2009, when the global poverty line was $1.25, nearly 50% of Paraguay's total population fell below that line. Now in 2017, only 22.2% of Paraguay's total population falls below that line. This is great. However, 40% of Paraguay's 6.9 million population still suffers from poverty. The main roots of poverty in Paraguay stem from their dependent on agriculture, violence, and limited access to resources. The government in Paraguay is making total changes to get socially, making changes economically and socially to get Paraguay on a standstill. One example of this change is in 2007, 46% of Paraguay's rural population suffered from water contamination, deeming their water undrinkable and unusable for their crops. Now in 2017, only 6% of Paraguay's rural population suffers from water contamination. Paraguay has been making total changes to get rid of their stigma as one of the poorest countries in South America. And with the help of the Daughters of Charity, we believe Globe can make total change to help those suffering from poverty.
The next country that we looked at or we researched was Peru. Having the Daughters of Charity present in Peru, we think that it would be a great expansion for Globe to venture out there. Peru, the specific part of Peru that we concentrated on was in the rural areas, with 47.7% of the total population that lives below extreme poverty. Out of that 47.7% that lives below extreme poverty, 80% of them are women. Globe tries to alleviate poverty and empowers women. So we believe that if Globe ventures out, then it should be Peru. The main roots of poverty in Peru is because of inequality. Men take the lead over women in the rural areas of Peru. Also, their main source of employment there is agriculture, but due to the limited access of resources and land, then there isn't much to do.
Our next country is Brazil. I was actually born and raised in Brazil, so since the beginning of the semester, I think the finance group took a bigger look at Brazil itself. And being one of the biggest countries in Latin America and a very strong economy in the world, Brazil still faces a lot of poverty. 20% of the population faces poverty and 8.7% of the population faces extreme poverty, and that's due to a lot of inequality and a lot of violence. So we took a deeper look at that and focused that there's over 1,300 Daughters of Charity in Brazil itself. So we thought it would be a great idea to try to implement Globe and reach out to the Daughters of Charity over there and see how we could expand.
Lastly, as we were looking at another country that we could potentially expand to, I thought of my homeland, Ecuador. It is full of different beautiful sites from the Andes Mountains to the Galapagos Islands. But there are some risk factors that we had to take in consideration before looking whether it is a good country to go into or not. There's a lot of crimes there, like some of them are drug-related, theft, or armed robbery. And there's natural disasters occurring, especially earthquakes, which have been happening the past months. And last year we had a 7.8 of magnitude earthquake that really impacted the country. So we wanted to be able to see that Ecuador could potentially get better so that we could potentially go there and help. Even though there's some risk factors, we look at the opportunity that that Globe could have there. Out of the 16.7 millions of people that live there, 22.9% of them live in poverty, and out of them, 8.3 live in extreme poverty. Now, since this is a kind of low percent, we still believe that the major roots of poverty is due to lack of education and employment. But that doesn't mean that we should stop there. There's a lot of Daughters of Charity located in the capital of Ecuador, which is Quito, and there's 400 daughters there and 55 communities. Now, when people talk about the experience that they have with Globe managers going to Nicaragua last semester, and they talk about the people with passion to better themselves, I think of the people from Ecuador. It's the same over there. We have similar stories from our borrowers, people that sell school supplies to help their communities, people that go door to door to sell their products. So even though there's poverty there, there's still potential for Globe to continue and alleviate poverty over there.
Another thing that we wanted to change this semester was implementing a visual representation of Globe files. So right now, all the information that Globe has is under Excel documents. And once the finance team started working with those documents, what we found was a lot of information and very hard to find all of it. So our goal was to be able to implement Power BI, which is a Microsoft tool. And unfortunately, we couldn't do this because the computers that are available from school can't download any programs that aren't owned by school. So since this program is owned by Microsoft, we were not able to do this, but our goal was to find something Power BI would be able to implement graphs and be able to have us find the countries based on a map. So it would be a lot more of visual representations instead of just a line of information.
Our last objective was to have a quick turnaround on the loan recommendations we received. coming into Globe and not knowing much about loans and really having a lack of experience, we were awaited with 5 loans that needed to be approved right away. And we believe that this would have been very hard to achieve, but our group was very driven and very motivated, and we were able to achieve this with a 1 to 2 week turnaround back to Dr. Sama. We understood the importance of having these loans out of our hands, taking them to the steering committee, because these people really depend on the loans. Passing the baton on to the next class, our first suggestion is communication. As you can see, working with your groups is very important, and something that really kept us connected was an app such as GroupMe. It's really important to keep an open line of connection with your group, as well as Dr. Sama and Lena and Nina. They're great resources, and they're always here to help you and really propel the program forward.
Another recommendation that we have for the next class is either try to find a tool that is available through St. John's to be able to create a better system to keep track of everything, or one of the goals could be to get a computer donated for Globe. We really need a computer. We don't have one right now, so it would be good to have one in class so we can work even on the loans and all the stuff that we have, so it's not separate computers. And as I mentioned to Dr. Sama, I'm putting myself available for the next semester or even the semester after. If you guys need help with Power BI, I've done it before, so it's an excellent tool that I feel like everyone in Globe would benefit a lot. So if we can get a computer or work on anything, I'm willing to help everyone download and work on it.
Our last recommendation is to create a loan template. For the first day that we received the 5 loans, we were unsure on how to proceed next, but with the help of Dr. Sama and everyone from Globe, as well as looking at other loan recommendations from previous year, we were able to create a loan template where we had every loan follow a similar system. That way it was easier and it supported our quick turnaround of 1 to 2 weeks to be able to have the loan completed.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone for your time and attention during our presentation, and I'd like to hand it off to our very own marketing and fundraising team.
Show off what they.
Please. I'm gonna go get it. These are all yours.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming again. We are so excited as a team to present to you because with passion and persistence, we have accomplished so many of our goals. So to start off, we are the marketing and fundraising team. I'm Angela. I'm Linda.
I'm Michael.
I'm Colin.
I'm Raphael.
Maria.
And moving on. We just want to start off with a quote from the father of microfinance, Muhammad Yunus. Charity only perpetuates poverty by taking the initiative away from the poor. Charity allows us to go ahead with our own lives without worrying about the lives of the poor. Charity appeases our consciences. So this really highlights how charity is not enough. It's just a handout, it's a short-term solution. With microfinance, we can offer sustainability to the lives of the poor. So moving on to our objectives, we had an overall monetary goal of $5,900. And in order to achieve this goal, we did marketing awareness, fundraising events, and our biggest fundraiser is Give Campus with the theme of Globe Breaks the Chain. And we did all the organizing and promoting for our events. And to compare last semester's goals with ours, of course we picked up on the successes of last semester's Globe class with great communication that we strived for, as well as events that they did. And in order to strengthen this, we did more ambitious goals, as you can tell with the monetary goal of $5,900. As we have 22 Globe managers, it's a large difference from last semester's Globe class of 14, and their monetary goal was $3,800. And in order to to reach this larger goal, we did new and creative initiatives. And now, Linda will speak about the fundraising events that we did.
So throughout this semester, we had several different fundraising events. Fundraisers are something very important for our growth, and especially for our team, like we are focused on fundraising events. For this semester, we had new fundraising events, as Angela has mentioned before. So the first one that we had was our midterm care package sale, which was held during the midterm week. So what we did is that we prepared some fun survival kits for our students during the midterm week, because as students ourselves, we know how stressful it can be during that time of the year. And then so we thought it could be a fun and cute way to release that stress and release that negative vibe. For this event, our goal was of $300, and at the end we were able to raise until $325. So it was a very successful event. So for this event, we prepared 60 bags with the Globe logo on the bag, and then we put the different school supplies such as pen, pencils, some index cards, some snacks, even some candies, and some refreshment like water bottles, like soda cans, and then just to refresh their minds while they are taking their test. And so yeah, it was a very successful event, and we really want to thank Village Stationery, who provided us a lot of support and has generously donated some school supplies that we were able to sell. So we are really thankful to them. And next, Michael is gonna talk about the Halloween bake sale.
So our Tree for Change bake sale took place on October 30th and turned out to be a huge success as we surpassed our fundraising goal of $500, raising a total of $569.51. There were many different factors that helped contribute to our success as a team and as a class overall. One was that we reserved a great location in Miralac, where there's a bunch of students and faculty hanging out and passing by on their way to class. Another was that we had a wide array of treats and an abundance of treats, and we were even lucky enough to get some delicious items donated by Angela's sister, who's actually a professional baker. And we were also fortunate enough to have former Globe managers volunteer their time to bake for us. And that really showed us that even when your time has passed as a Globe manager and the semester ends, you're still part of the Globe community and the Globe family. And that was really awesome to see. For this fundraiser, we really had all hands on deck. And everyone in the class either donated a baked good, worked a shift at our table in Miralac, or did both. So it was just a really fun and fulfilling experience overall. So now Give Campus. Give Campus is our 1-month-long crowdfunding campaign for the semester that we have raised $3,635 for so far. Our theme that we decided on as a class was Globe helps to break the chains of poverty, gender inequality, and lack of education. When we originally launched Give Campus, each Globe manager was provided with their own specific link for fundraising that we all shared on social media and emailed and texted to family and friends in order to get as many donations as possible. Our original goal for Give Campus was $4,000, so you can see that we're pretty close. And today is actually the last day of the month since we launched it. So it's the last day to donate, so please check us out on Facebook or Instagram where you can find a link and contribute whatever you can. Small donations are encouraged and really do make a difference to us and to our borrowers.
94%.
Right, 94%. Okay,
Just
awesome.
went up.
And so thank you in advance for those, and thank you for all that have donated already. Now I'm going to hand it over to Colin, who's going to talk to you about our appreciation dinner.
Okay, so our appreciation dinner. So this event we really like to have to really say thank you to all of those who helped make Globe possible. We had a lot of fun planning this event, and we were really lucky to have Stephanie's Delish Bakery actually donate all of the baked goods for this event. We also had a lot of fun activities and launched some fundraisers at this event. First, we launched a Roberto fundraiser, which I'm going to get into more on the next slide. I know Dr. Sama already covered a lot of it, stole some of my thunder. Sorry. But we also were fortunate enough to have two former Globe managers, Evan and Natalie, talk about their Globe Fellows trip to Nicaragua. This trip really is main goal is to go connect with the bars and see how everyone's doing down there. And it was really nice to see all their pictures and videos from their experience. We also played a little Globe bingo game. So we had we had raffle tickets and other globe-related items as prizes for those who won bingo. And as Michael just talked about, we launched our Give Campus reveal. So we had a video that I'm sure you'll see later by our tech team. But we had a video and asked for donations, and we're really doing well with our campaign, obviously now. But we also sold raffle tickets. We're launching our raffle winner tonight, so if you haven't done so already, definitely grab some raffle tickets. We got some great prizes. And lastly, previously, before the appreciation dinner, some of our managers were able to go on a trip to United Nations headquarters in Manhattan. So everyone who went was talking so highly about it and said it was really just a great experience. Next we have Fabretto Fundraiser. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what they do and how we work with them. So it's a Nicaraguan-based company, and their goal is to empower underserved children and their families in many different ways. They currently educate over 12,000 children in Nicaragua and provide meals for these kids at school. They also help young entrepreneurs get their businesses up and running, and help young artisans and merchants have a way to sell and market their products. We sold these at the appreciation dinner, and all the items are handmade. And the best part about this holiday sale is by purchasing one of these items, you're benefiting not one but two great causes. So we purchased these items through Fabretto, all handmade, and marked up the price, and then that's the way you're able to benefit both of these organizations. Our goal was $200. This is our first time doing this event, so I'm sure we'll continue doing it in the future. And we quickly surpassed our goal at the appreciation dinner with $437. Now I'm going to hand it over to Rafael.
Alright, so I get to talk to everybody about the Restaurant Proceeds event. So this event was the first time Globe is doing this event, and we got the idea from when we saw a flyer in St. John's Hall that said, "Do good with burritos." And the flyer was for a fundraiser with Chipotle and with a nonprofit organization on campus that's similar to Globe. And for the fundraiser, you would have to bring in the flyer that they would hand out at an event, and if you brought it in on a certain day between a certain time slot, 50% of your meal would be donated to that nonprofit organization. So we thought it'd be a great idea to try to apply the same for Globe. So our plan was we were gonna try to team up with Chipotle just like they did, do the same fundraiser for one of the soccer games this year, hand out the flyers, and then that night they would go to Chipotle and 50% would hopefully go to us. Unfortunately, we didn't plan ahead, long ahead in time, so basically the website in which you would plan it on, you have to plan schedule it about 2 months ahead, and the only days that were still within the semester that were available were in late November and early December, and none of those dates had a soccer game or even a basketball game to work with. So we called some nearby restaurants and tried to make it work, and we were very fortunate that Fresh Meadows Pizzeria agreed to do the event with us. So it was just this Saturday night at the basketball game between St. John's and Sacred Heart, where St. John's won big. But we handed out over 100 flyers at the game, and after the game, people in the stands would go to Fresh Meadows Pizzeria, and 25% of their meal was donated to us. So we knew that with any new event, you're going to have some challenges, and we knew that this wasn't going to be an easy one to schedule and to raise a lot of money with. So that's why we set our goal at only $100 so that we could make it up if we didn't even get the event at all. But we were able to raise $51, which is a little disappointing. We wanted to hit our goal, but we learned a lot in the process. And one recommendation that I would definitely make is if the next group of Globe managers wants to do this, hand out the flyers right outside of the restaurant, and obviously people who are going there anyway, they'll just happily grab the flyer and hand it in. We didn't feel comfortable doing that with a small business because it doesn't really help them at all, because it doesn't, those people are going there anyway. So just keep that in mind. That's a better way to raise more money, and I guarantee whether your goal is 100, 200, whatever you put it at, you'll definitely hit it if you do it that way, and if you plan more ahead of time. Next thing we're talking about are struggles. So if you look at the chart, our struggles all start with communication. Whenever you have team goals, long-term goals, communication is usually the problem. So if you look at the two arms of the chart, it describes setting SMART goals and getting started. So for those who don't know, setting SMART goals are setting goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So if you have goals that fit this criteria, you're going to have checkpoints along the way in which you can track your progress, in which you can have timely ways to go about your goals on a step-by-step basis. So we had struggled with that in the beginning, and especially if you look below the setting SMART goals, knowing expectations and marketing awareness. So it's very hard when we started in early September to know what exactly you're capable of. It's hard to know what's reasonable, what's not, because you want to be very ambitious, but you also don't want to set goals that you're going to end up disappointing yourself in the end. So it's very important to go back to the top of the chart and remember communication. Talk to people who are experienced, talk to Lena, talk to Dr. Samra about setting goals that are reasonable. For marketing awareness, now, if you're the finance team, your market is generally the borrowers, and if you're the marketing team like us, generally your market is the donors. So know who you're dealing with depending on the event and depending on what your goals are and what you're planning. Know the market that you're trying to reach out to, and come up with a smart plan to reach out to them effectively. On the other side of the chart, we can see Getting Started, and below that, Restaurant Proceeds Event and Give Campus campaign. So it's very important to get started right away. As I mentioned with the Restaurant Proceeds Event, the reason why we couldn't get Chipotle in time or find a correct date was because we had to plan far ahead in advance, and we tried in the end of September to plan it, and by then it was too late. So jump on your goals very quickly, whatever they are. And a very common theme that I see, or a common way of thinking that I often see, is that people want to attack their goals chronologically, we want to do this first, then that, then this, then that. I would strongly recommend that you look at everything as a whole and figure out what needs to be planned far ahead of time for all your goals. And the same thing happened with the Give Campus fundraising. Now, I believe it's 4 semesters in a row that we've had online campaigns, or even maybe more than that, 5. But it's always difficult to reach out to donors and ask for money, especially this time of year when, with all the holidays and people are shopping for gifts and shelling out a lot of money. So it's always difficult. So I believe that we would have already hit 100% of our goal, even though we're very close at 94%. Please help us out. But I believe we definitely would have hit 100% if we would have gotten started a little bit earlier and had more of an outreach to our fellow managers and to our friends and family. And now I'm going to hand it over to Maria to talk about our results.
Okay, so our results, we're very fortunate to have over 120 donors to help us reach our goal. I'm not sure if that's the correct amount now, if it's going up.
As we speak.
As we speak. Okay, so currently we raised $5,018.01, and we include the 1 cent because in Globe every cent counts. We're 85% of our goal has been reached, and with your help, we believe that it can be 100%. Okay, and then passing the baton, with our successes and failures throughout our semester, we have some great things to share with our new Globe managers. First is reaching out to the community. So we could break that up into 2 things, learning how to reach out to student donors as well as old donors, and then also reaching out to local businesses. So we reached out to Qdoba Fresh Meadows Pizzeria and Restaurant, as well as a local stationery store, and we were able to get great donations. So definitely reach out, you'll never know what you're gonna get. 2 is teamwork. Teamwork is essential when starting Globe. Your communication skills must be effective, and but great teamwork and great communication leads to great results. Last but not least, we want the new Globe managers to introduce a new mobile payment system. Many of the events that we hosted, many people wanted to use Venmo and many others, but we only were able to use credit cards and cash, so we believe that that would be a great addition to Globe. So our team believes that you guys can fill in our shoes and have a great time doing so, and we thank you so much, and here is the technology and communications team.
Angela, she's not paying attention to me. Angela, can you take this while we put
Yeah, of course. Is that correct? Yes. That's it. Oh,
Hello everyone, good evening. We're Sneha.
I'm Kayla.
So we wanted to start off with a quote by Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, and it says that technology transforms people's lives, from mitigating poverty to simplifying processes, ending corruption to better services. Technology is omnipresent. It has become the single most important instrument of human progress. We think that this plays a large part in how technology plays a role in the globe. It's not just social media, it's not just likes and followers. Technology plays a large part in how we connect with our borrowers, how we connect with the Daughters of Charity, and how we get the word out about Globe to find more donors, to find more people just to say our name, to get more people to know about us. So some of the social media accounts that we did handle this semester are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We put Facebook in the middle mainly because it is our most global network. Twitter and Instagram are on the sides because it kind of just assists it pushing forward. Some terms we want to explain before we get started on our goals and whether or not we've reached them are impressions, reach, and engagement. Impressions are the number of times anyone sees your post. Reach is the number of times unique accounts see your post. And engagement is the total number of interactions of likes, comments, shares, etc. So for Facebook, we wanted to show you where exactly all of our Facebook followers are. This was even shocking to us. We have followers from US, Canada, to the Philippines, to Malaysia. And these here are just our highest number of followers. So we do have way more from a lot of different countries around the world. This was just an interesting fact to see how global Globe really is. So our Facebook goals were a 15% reach increase from the high of last semester's organic reach. Organic means not promoted, so it wasn't paid for. They were very tough act to follow, but we put our all into it. We wanted to share YouTube videos, we wanted to post relevant articles, and we wanted to increase our likes from 2.2 thousand to 2.3 thousand. We also wanted to boost reposts with the help of Scott Van Dusen. So the goals that we reached, we did increase our reach. Last year's high organic was 1,229 and this year's was 1,815. It was extremely hard, but we did it and we're very proud of ourselves. It took a lot of getting used to. We thought we had to have a schedule and we thought that we had to post at a specific time or nobody was going to see it, but it was very shocking to us who exactly our followers were, what our largest reach came from, and once we got that down, it was kind of easy to know what they wanted to see and what they were going to respond to. So just to go a little further on that, this is a chart saying who exactly our followers are. So this is just the people who follow our page in women and men and in age. So you see that a lot of our followers are 18 to 34, and I think that we were very successful because in the next chart you see that the number of people who've seen any content associated with our page, we did a really good job at making sure that 18 to 34 saw all of our content, and a lot of our reach came from that 18 to 34, and this was just a pleasant surprise. At first we weren't doing it on purpose, but once we got a hang of it, it was really great to see that we found our target market and hit our target market for most of the semester. These are some of our most popular posts. September, our introductory Welcome the Fall class of Globe was very popular. Everyone loved our class pictures. And then October and November, our Women Crush Wednesdays and Man Crush Mondays were extremely popular. Renee and Brendan completely topped the charts with the comments, the shares, and the likes. So as of today, we have 2,253 likes. It is not 2,300 likes, unfortunately, but we did include this chart just to show you how sporadic it was. It was not that we never gained the likes. It was just extremely hard to keep the likes, and that's something that we do talk about later on in our Pass the Baton on how future classes can really work towards keeping those likes, because people, they're interested in Globe and they want to know more about Globe, but they fall off after a while when they realize, oh, I really can't do this, or I'm not as interested as I thought it was. So we do have to work on keeping people's attention.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about our Instagram initiatives. So for our Instagram goals, it was a lot of making sure we post a lot and increasing our follower count. So we wanted to get a 25% follower increase. Post about 3 to 4 times a week, so we had consistent posting and people were updated on Globe. And we wanted to utilize our Instagram stories over Snapchat just because we have more followers there, more people are going to see our content there. And then we also wanted to utilize hashtags, and this was new because it's never been done before, and it's a really great way to grow your audience and get new followers. And also utilize our Man Crush Monday and Women Crush Wednesday posts so people know who the Globe managers are and kind of know fun facts about them, what team they're on, things like that. So the goals that we reached, we did post consistently 3 times a week.
As of today, we have 30 posts. And we did utilize Man Crush Monday and or Women Crush Wednesday every week. Sometimes we did one or the other, or sometimes both. It just depended on the week. We did post the hashtags on every post, and that really did help grow our following, as you'll see in a few other slides. And then we did use our Instagram stories for every post that we did, and we maximized our goal or surpassed it, and we got 30% follower increase. So these are just some of our popular posts. For September, it was the same as Facebook. It was our intro to Globe, like welcome to the new class. And for October, we were lucky enough to get a picture with the president at the Social Justice Conference. And thanks to Michael, he was nice enough to go up and ask him to take a picture with us. And then for December, it was our boosted post. It says 51 people liked it, but when you go to the boosted post, we actually have over 500 likes. And then just a couple stats. As of today, we have 608 followers. We have an average reach of about 331 people, which is really, really amazing, and about 78 engagements. And then here are just some of the metrics, and these are important because it really shows you when you should be posting, who's looking at your feed, and that can help you plan out your posts and do better in the future. So we have about 40% men and 60% women, so it's pretty equal among both. But the age group is very similar to Facebook. It's the 18 to 34 range. And then these are also super important because you'll see that our, like by days of the week, who's looking at our posts and how often they're looking. And you can see that it's fairly equal, so that's kind of good for us because we don't have to focus on posting just on one day or at one time per week. No matter when we post, people are gonna look at it, which is really great for Globe. And then most of our Instagram followers are from New York because that's where we're based, and a lot of our former managers are here. And then these are just some of our promotion stats. We did boost one post like on Facebook, and it was for World Children's Day. It was the picture in the past slide, but we put $100 behind it, and right now we've reached almost 2,000 people, and we have 350 engagements, which has increased since we've been here.
All right, so here's some of the Twitter results from the semester. And each of these goals that we had here had a separate purpose. The first, the 25% follower increase is obviously just to increase our overall reach, the amount of people who see us, and our social media presence. We want to deliver content consistently to our followers about Globe, letting them know what we're doing, when and where we're doing it, as well as educate these same followers with relevant topics on microfinance, microcredit, poverty, and so on. We also wanted to come across as a unified brand for Globe as our accounts, and so we tried to share the same content as much as possible. We only slightly tweak it to fit its respective platform best. Here you can see our follower tracking chart, and so this black line here represents our ideal progress. We had 78 days to get 70 new followers, which is quite the ambitious goal, and unfortunately it was the only goal we did not reach. This equals out to about 0.897 followers a day. And so Twitter is difficult to track, and this goal is much harder to obtain because of its erratic and sporadic nature, just like Facebook. A good example of this is at the midway point. We had 487 followers. We were beating ideal progress, and we were feeling really good about where we were going. But by the end of October, we were actually down 9 followers from that point and ended up way under our ideal progress. Here we have some more statistics with impressions and engagements. So as you can see here, we started small because of the summer. There was a large period of inactivity. This is only people who are looking at old posts that had been posted in the spring. We quickly kicked it up in September as we had a lot of initial hype and interest in the beginning of the school year. October mellowed out. Our impressions stayed pretty high, and we increased all impressions consistently. But our engagement stayed lower because October was a very informational month. We had a lot of events, so we just want to let our followers know when and where they were. We didn't really give them much to click on or look into. And then November, we were going back up. We were on a steady pace to beat September until we started pushing Give Campus, which deflected a lot of the attention away from our profile and towards donating. Over here, you have profile visits where you can see the same trend. People increasingly became interested in us until November when we started deflecting attention away into Give Campus. here's some popular posts, and as you can see, there are themes that they all have in common. One, they're all media posts. Obviously, people are more attracted to a picture than boring text. They're also very engaging. This one is for informational, so anyone who's interested in Globe at all is obviously going to read it. We have an update on our midterm care package, and then the first boosted Gift Campus tweet. And that boosted tweet was a promotion, which I'll explain here. On your right, you see an example of a boosted Instagram post, and it first, right off the bat, has an advantage because of the red banner below the picture, which directly goes to our Give Campus campaign. This provides an ease of access to people who are looking at it, making them more likely to donate. It also functions as an advertisement, meaning that you don't have to follow Globe to see this or to have this come up on your feed. You just have to be in the same geographic location and share a common interest. So as a student manager organization, it showed up on a lot of students at St. John's and even sometimes teachers' feeds, which was good because one, increased donations, two, increased awareness, and even three, we might have better recruitment. The more people who see us, the better talent pool Globe has to pick from. On the left, we have analysis, and this shows us like when you pay for promoting your tweets, these platforms usually give you more insight and in-depth metrics on tracking what you're spending your money towards. And then a big thank you to Mr. Scott Van Dusen again, who helped us out by backing us with the budget. As you can see here, we have our promoted tweets versus our organic tweets. Organic tweets had no money behind them, while our promoted tweets were the ones that were pushed. You can see the money put into these tweets directly correlates with the amount of reach they got, reaching upwards of 25,000 people. So again, you can see that they blew away the organic tweets every time, and you can see this down here as well. And in the little over 2 weeks that we had promoted tweets, we garnered 1/3 of our total semester's impressions. So it really does work, and it really does help out.
So now going on to our YouTube account, our goal is to create a couple of really quick short animated videos. So we have 3 animated videos that are posted and shared on all of our social media accounts, including the promotional intro to Globe video, which is pretty much a really quick explanation about what Globe is, what we do, and then the Globe Breaks the Chain video, which is a video for our Give Campus campaign, and the last one was our social media promo video. So going into our promo video, sorry, it's playing on the laptop, but not up there.
Your song's good.
Can you click to the next one? The clicker is moving the whole presentation on the computer, not on there.
Now it's showing up here is not computer. That's the issue.
Like everything that we're doing is
Yeah.
Projector should have escape on
Probably
it.
the projector.
So, yeah, the videos were supposed to be, this is our promo video, and then Frozen.
Yeah, it's not. It's the projector. Let's move it on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Our next video is our intro to Globe video.
one new filter for everybody to use on their Snapchats. So this is what we came up with, and you can currently use it right now. It's up. You can take pictures all you want until 10 p.m. And then the next thing we did were flyers and posters. We worked alongside with the marketing team to help them create flyers and posters for their events. So we had the care package sale, the Halloween bake sale, and the flyer for the annual raffle, which you can find on your tables right now. And then the poster, we wanted to update the one we currently have, and we decided to come up with this. And the quote is, if you want to do something, you have to imagine it. If you don't imagine it, it will never happen. And that's the quote from Muhammad Yunus. And we thought it really applied to Globe because creativity and innovation and imagination is something that we use every semester.
So for our passing the baton, we did have a lot of questions and concerns that we want to address and kind of help the next Globe classes deal with. Or how do we keep constant followers? How do we keep followers and maintain our break periods? So the winter intercession, summer, or any kind of spring break. Whenever we're not in school, Globe is completely inactive. So a lot of people see that and don't think there's any reason to follow us. So how do we, together, not just semester to semester, but as all Globe supporters, come together and schedule posts or say, spring semester we'll do summer, fall semester we'll do winter, something to help maintain that reach, and how can we extend our reach further? The last semester did a really great job. We exceeded that. How can you guys keep that going and not backtrack from what we've done?
And one thing we're really, really excited about is we've created a Globe internal wiki, is what we're calling it, but it's basically an internal website for the incoming managers, specifically on the IT and communications team. It basically has all of the information, or most, if not all, the information you'll need to hit the ground running as soon as you start Globe. We have our tips, our tricks, resources that we use, how we made the videos, how we made our flyers, all that kind of stuff.
So thank you. Now I'd like to introduce the Enterprise Development and Program Impact Audits team.
Where you going? Oh, you guys could have with me. Are you? Where is this building? Why can't I find it now? It's on Facebook. She's on Instagram like that. Do you want to keep doing it? He's not a good one to do it because it keeps getting me while I eat.
The whole time.
Do you want to do it? No, take it away from him.
You're gonna keep it like this the whole time.
No, because Lena's watching it.
Hi everyone, we are the Enterprise Development and Program Impact Audits team. My name is Jess Sanseverino, I'm the team liaison.
Michael Palacios.
Brendan Michelin.
Jessica Benjamin. Renee Chakrin.
Lloyd Howell.
So we'd like to begin with a quote. It reads, calculating the impacts of microfinance requires disentangling its role from the simultaneous roles of all these attributes. We decided to begin with this quote because we think it's relevant to the essence of what we do as an audit team. Sometimes it can be very difficult to actually calculate the effects of what you do and how are you impacting a community with anything, because if there's multiple independent variables occurring at one time simultaneously, it becomes very difficult to contrive the actual root of what is causing that impact. So we did a lot of reading on this and trying to figure out how we could solve this problem, and we really let this principle guide us throughout the entire semester in deriving a control group and being able to measure those impacts. So I think we did a pretty good job, and we're really excited to share our results. So we'll begin with an agenda. We'll talk about our internal auditing objectives, the external auditing objectives, and enterprise development objectives, and then finally we'll pass the baton to future Globe managers.
Good evening, everyone. Globe is such a very polished program, and it's constantly growing. But just to make sure that we're always keeping track of that, we need to have internal audits in which we created a series of questions that would really test each team's and just show their strengths and evaluate them. So we had goals set for the semester to complete 3 internal audits. We were able to successfully complete those audits, and while completing those audits, we were able to create feedback and just make sure to analyze that they were, all the teams were able to stay on track, grow, and keep making progress. Also today, we have an analysis of the final audit, and we will be talking about the team's growth and success throughout the semester. The questionnaire was based off of past Globe managers' questions. We were really impressed to see what our previous Globe managers were able to create, and we wanted to make sure we built upon that and just keep growing. So the questions were really based on the goals and really tested out if they were really taking the necessary steps to achieve the goals. So this was really just a progress check, while also making sure that steps were taken to just make specific efforts to grow and make an impact and keep the program afloat.
So after each audit, we did a feedback, which was quantitative and qualitative, and we provided a numerical value while giving written feedback. And we did a full analysis of what has been done and what has yet to be done. And we gave specific feedback to optimize their efforts while giving advice to make sure that they were continuing with their progress. And in each feedback, we included a master score, which was calculated by dividing the aggregate progress rating score by the total possible progress score. So in the beginning of the semester, when we sent out our first audit, we struggled a little bit because we got very inconsistent responses. So as the auditing team, we decided to revisit our strategy, and we said, what can we do to make sure that we're being efficient with our audits? So we decided to go back into Google Forms and make all of our questions required, so each team had to respond to them. And we also decided to sit down with the team while they were completing the audits, so that if they had any questions or concerns, they could ask us specifically, and we could give them a straight up answer right then and help them with the audit. And in our second and third audit, we actually did see a lot more consistent answers and less discrepancies, so it did prove to be helpful. So now we're gonna look over the master scores for each team. And for the finance and risk assessment, you can see that their first audit, they scored 60%, their second audit 64%, and their third audit 92%. And you can see for the first audit, they actually had a pretty high percentage, which is 60%. And this was because within the first week, the finance team were able to approve 5 loans. And so when we sent out our first audit, they already had that task done, so they got a higher score. And you can see in the second audit, they went up. And the third, they were able to complete all their goals in the defaulted loans, the risk rating checklist, the researching a new company, and their 3-week turnaround. The only thing they struggled with was finding a computer for the Microsoft EI program. For the marketing and fundraising team, their first audit, they scored 39%, their second audit 55%, and their third audit 90%. Now for their first audit, they had a low score, but that didn't mean that they weren't accomplishing their goals. They did have all their events coordinated and structured, but it was just later on in the semester. So as you can see, in their second audit, they did score higher, and in their third, they managed to reach 90%. And for their final goal, for their final audit, we still weren't able to give them a exact number, because Give Campus is still in the progress, and also the raffle. So if you want to donate, you still have time, and you can make their score go up even more. So for the technology and communications team, their first audit, they scored 48%, second 66%, and their third 96%. And they were able to share a lot of content on their Relatable to Globe, on their social media platforms, and develop these new ideas such as Women Crush Wednesday and Men Crush Wednesday to gain new followers and to improve their likes and comments. But they did struggle to maintain their followers, but they still got a pretty high score, a very high score actually. So for the enterprise development
program impact audit team. We got 57% on our first audit. Second audit, 60%, and our third audit, we got a final score of 88%. And for our first audit, we were able to get we got 57% because we did send out our audits, which was we were completing our internal goals, and then we gave our feedback. However, we were kind of stagnant with our other goals because there was just so much research that had to be done with our enterprise development goal and our external goals. So as you can see in our second and third audit, we were able to get more of that done, which is why our score improved. It improved then.
As my reference to our external audit goals, we were able to, we decided to come up with 3 goals throughout the semester, and they were to modify the existing post-loan survey, which was translated by Michael, distribute the survey, and then provide analysis on feedback we received for the post-loan survey. Some post-loan survey modifications that we made. We didn't feel like we wanted to remake the wheel because that would have made all our data from previous semesters a lot less useful, so we decided to add 4 questions. We got, have your sales increase over the time of the loan? Over the course of the loan, have you hired new employees? Are you planning to grow or expand your current business with the following 2 questions? The goals of this were to analyze the impact of our loan both on the borrower as well as on the community as a whole, because our borrowers are able to not only grow their business, they're able to expand it and really hire more people. We're really maybe technically helping one person, but we're helping however many they hired and actually made an impact.
So regarding our poverty graduate follow-up system, this is an area that has been identified as a developing area as far as measurable impact within both microfinance and among the GLOBE program. So what we've developed is a 2-fold approach, including anecdotes, what we're calling poverty graduate stories, as well as statistical analysis. In research and what studies has shown, anecdotes or stories essentially highlight the potential that a microfinance industry can have, or institution can have upon entering and then leaving the institution or community. Statistical analysis provide a broad overview of the greater scope or vision that can be achieved by having the impact of a microfinance institution such as GLOBE upon entering a community. So what we would like to do is basically through the Daughters of Charity, who are our agents on the field, highlight or identify areas of candidates that are already there that have a meaningful and a unique story that would help promote both the GLOBE mission as well as the impact that microfinance can have upon before the GLOBE impacted them and their livelihood, and then as well as after. And then as well as addition to that, through the statistical analysis, we've identified several measurable factors that would be considered moving forward, as well as the type of business, the income, the age, family size, education level, as well as rural population versus urban population. And this is again a preliminary step in terms of future GLOBE semesters can build upon as far as helping provide a scope in terms of measurable impact. Because again, this is still very much something that is being developed within the field as well as within GLOBE.
Okay, so we had one enterprise development goal. It's easy for micro credit to become a short-term solution to alleviate poverty, which is one of the reasons why Muhammad Yunus created the Grameen Bank, because he wanted to create a long-term goal. Also, this is one of the things enterprise development aims to do, is to create a long-term goal to help educate our borrowers so they can gain the skill set needed to sustain a successful business. So our goal was initially we wanted to create a care package which would include not only healthcare information, but also a budgeting pamphlet. The reason why we wanted to create the healthcare one is because healthcare is a huge reason why many loans are defaulted, which the finance team talked about. But budgeting is also a very important part of helping sustain a successful business. So we decided that this was just too broad. We wanted to narrow it down to just a budgeting pamphlet, a budgeting care package. We included a notepad, pen, pencils, eraser, sharpener, highlighter, and calculator. This would all be packaged into a pencil case, which would be sent to our borrowers in developing countries so that they can use this. It'll be sent with like the fellows when they go on the fellows trip in May. And we also want to create a budgeting pamphlet. We didn't get the opportunity to finish this, but we hope that future managers will be able to complete this goal for us. Oh, also I wanted to add, so we presented this last Wednesday at the steering committee. We presented a proposal
we'd like to pass the baton to future enterprise development and audit team managers. So we had a lot of ideas that we wanted to accomplish, and some of them, the scope were huge. So it's just in the span of a semester, we weren't able to accomplish everything that we wanted to, but we do think we had some great ideas, and we'd love for future managers to pursue them. So like Jess mentioned earlier, the budgeting pamphlet, to complete the care package, we would need that. So that'll be one thing for next semester to continue. Basically to teach borrowers how to actually budget their money properly, like she said, to create long-term solutions and educate people in financial literacy. Also, the healthcare package, like we said, it was too broad of a scope to try to do all of this in one care package, so we wanted to create a business one and a health one. So the health one could have a healthcare pamphlet, including like little tips to improve your health, such as wash your hands, simple things like that that sometimes people don't know but can help them actually improve their lives, and can include things like feminine products or a first aid kit. In terms of external objectives, the follow-up system, we set a groundwork for that, but we didn't actually figure out a way to extract this information from the borrowers, so that'll be a step for future managers to figure out how are we actually going to accomplish this. And then once that's done, we'd like to collaborate with the IT team to make a Where Are They Now series, where you can post on Instagram or on the other social media platforms, sort of like a Humans of New York type of thing, and you can see like where borrowers that have graduated from Globe are now. Another area that was interesting to us was cell phone technology. Sometimes we've seen in developing countries that people are using cell phones to get more immediacy in their financial transactions, as opposed to actually physically distributing money all around. So this is something that we want to consider, having borrowers use this to basically become more efficient. And then finally, some soft skills, proactivity and ambition. It's really, really, really important to get started on your goals early, because like I said, some of our ideas were super broad and huge ideas, but maybe if we had like been more proactive from the beginning, we could have maybe accomplished more. And you know, if we'd spent less time on the research and more just trying to get out there and do things. So I do think it's really important for future Globe managers to be proactive. Additionally, ambition. We set 7 objectives that at the time seemed we could totally accomplish, but it's really difficult with Globe. It's just a lot of things going on. So sometimes it's more important to have concise objectives that you can actually accomplish than to have a million and it's just a lot to do. So we recommend working on those soft skills as well. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you all for coming and for your prolonged attention. We'd like to direct your attention to the raffle that's still going on. We're about to do a drawing, so purchase your last minute tickets. Thank you all.